Right. First of all, Robert, you've gotten a chance to kind of, obviously you were, running back at Ohio State and everything like that, but you've gotten a little bit more impartial eyes through an analyst point of view. When you look at Michigan and especially the running game, what do you see?
Well, I think the running game over the last few years, you look against the Michigan run game against the top tier defenses, Penn State, Michigan State, Ohio State, Wisconsin, averaging less than 3 yards a carry against those teams. But it's not just an offensive line issue or a run scheme issue. I think they've suffered to a degree at the quarterback position here in the last couple of years with execution issues. And if you're not backing safeties out of the box, it's easier to get an 8th or a 9-man inserted into the box and make it more difficult to run the football. So I think that's been more of the problem. I like Higdon and Evans. I think they're good runners, but they're going to be better, I think, with Shea Patterson at quarterback.
Now, like you said, what you like Higdon and Evans, and they're now expected to really carry the load. Ty Isaac gone. A couple years ago, you had Devion Smith. What do you like about them as players, especially, don't know if you have heard, they both have put on a bunch of weight after Ben Herbert joined the program.
Oh, really? How much weight have they put on?
Higdon is supposedly up from 190 to 203.
Yeah, I know he was smaller, yeah.
And Chris Evans was 210 at the end of the season. Now he's up to 217.
Yeah, well, I mean, one thing you know that you're going to get with Jim Harbaugh is a mentality that we want to run the football. And I think both of these guys obviously fit that mold. Putting on the weight makes them more dangerous. One of my favorite lines of all time from any coach, anywhere, was Jim Harbaugh talking about the way that he wanted to win at Stanford. And he said, we want to win with character and cruelty. And I think that when you have backs that can pound it, these guys do a great job of breaking tackles. You're going to set yourself up for having a solid run game. Once again, add Shea Patterson to the mix, back the safeties up a little bit, and you get that much better.
Now, obviously, I'm sure you follow the rivalry between Michigan and Ohio State very closely, having been involved in it yourself. When you look at the fact that Michigan is 1-5 against both Michigan State and Ohio State total, what does that say to you about where Michigan is, and what do they need to do to be able to get better?
Well, I think it also says something about where Michigan State and Ohio State are, too. You can't just look at Michigan in isolation. And there are different circumstances for all games. I mean, we were -5 in the turnover ratio against Michigan State a year ago. People can look at the overtime game with Ohio State. You could have won that game. Football, hey, it's a tough game. It's tough to get any win. But I think people are righteously anxious to get more wins in the rivalry. You get hired as a coach to win your rivalry games, and ultimately you're going to be judged by it. People are impatient.
How far away do you think Michigan is when you look at the roster? You look at what you've seen out of the team since Jim Harbaugh arrived 3 years ago. How far away do you think they are before they get to that point?
Yeah, I think Shea Patterson's a big piece of it. I think that they had all the pieces in place last year to beat both of the teams. So it was possible. Once again, talk about being -5 in the turnover ratio against Michigan State. You're rarely going to win a game like that. So clearly could have won that one. And of course, the Ohio State game could have won that game as well. Got off to a hot start. Ohio State was able to battle their way back and win it with a freshman quarterback, which didn't upset me too much. But I think Michigan was built to win the game. It just wasn't. You didn't have the player at quarterback that you do now.
Now, looking at specifically the Michigan-Ohio State rivalry, just what does that mean? Like, having been a player in it, how different is that game to actually play in? I've heard from some players, especially from the Michigan side, that aren't on the team anymore, that sometimes the fans tend to care a little bit more about the results and everything in some ways, but having played in the game, what is that like?
It's why you go. When you sign your name on the dotted line at either one of those schools, it's why it's at least a very big part of reason why you do it in the first place, because you want to beat that rival. And unfortunately for me, I never won one. I was 0-1-1. I only played in 2 of them. One on a no-time left field goal, and of course the other one was a tie, back when ties happened way long ago. So No, it's all you think about as soon as the game the week before ends. And of course, the students and any fan that you see during the course of that week, they won't let you forget it because they're constantly asking if you're ready for it. And I wish everybody that was a fan of college football could see or could be there coming out of the tunnel for a game like that. It's the greatest feeling in the world.
Now, while that is, arguably the biggest rivalry in all of sports, and one of the biggest ones, just biggest matchups that you can possibly have.
Hey, what's up, man?
We just got in, dude.
When you leaving?
Tomorrow morning.
Oh, are you really?
Yeah.
No, I mean leaving for your honeymoon.
Oh, Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my honeymoon.
Okay.
My honeymoon.
Where are you guys going?
Italy.
Oh, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. You should have told me that. Sorry.
That's quite all right. Now, at the same time, there's a respect in the rivalry. Like you don't see, the players might get in a fight during the game, but after the game, you always see them, kind of going around making their rounds, making sure they see different players. Why is it such a respectful rivalry?
Well, I think a lot of the guys are from Ohio, for one thing, on both rosters. So, there's a little bit of I think there's a little bit of that, but you respect your rivals, you always do, and you want to beat your rival more than anything. But ultimately, the game's about respect and discipline. And so, when the game's over, it's we'll shake hands and congratulate if we have to, but you go back to kind of hating each other pre-game again the next time.
Now, last question for you. Fill in the blank here. Michigan wins the Big Ten Conference and goes to the college football playoff
If Shea Patterson can provide the type of balance that the offense needs, because all the pieces are there on defense.
All right, excellent. Thank you very much.